feel like people are trying to dull your sparkle? It's almost like you have the flame lit within yourself and somebody is just dumping a bunch of water on it. Or trying to dump a bunch of water on it. The path of inner transformation is not an easy one. And, I've talked about, something called gatekeepers in our lives in past videos. And basically when we're going through periods of growth and change within ourselves, it's almost like people or things pop up either from our past or just randomly that are trying to, prevent us from moving forward. Now, whether this is the universe being like, hey, are you sure that you are as evolved or as transformed as you say you are? It's like a little reminder to make sure that, you're going and moving in the right direction or you're not falling back into old habits. It's a very interesting thing. But, if you ever feel in life, and I felt this way in life, where people, you're doing good, you're feeling good about yourself, finally in a place of feeling like stable and simplicity and peace, and then somebody comes along and just triggers the hell out of you and you shut down. So there's people who get angry at other people and they resist and they shout back, and then there's people, their system just shuts down completely. And that's me, my system just shuts down completely. I wanted to do this video because I want to talk about it a little bit. How when people try to dull your sparkle, when they try dumping water on the flame that you've lit and you feel like you're vibrant, and then suddenly you're not so vibrant because you were triggered by something. Reality is based on, number one, vibration. We all have a vibrational set point, but also on perception, right? Somebody's perception or filter on the world. And people often don't like to see other people change. We live in a society of like vibrational Debbie Downers. It's like human beings are the worst sometimes, whether it's family, whether it's friends who don't want us to change, whether it's online. You see people who suddenly, say somebody shaves their head or something, or somebody has a midlife crisis, or somebody has a spiritual awakening. Suddenly, it's not fitting into the narrative or the mold that people around you may like or be used to, like their comfort level. It kind of shakes things up a bit, and that's why people become almost angry at you for trying to better your life in a sort of way. When we talk about vibrational set point, it's almost like when somebody's trying to put out your flame in life, they're trying to pull you down back to a lower state, I guess, or a state that they might be in, or maybe they've been used to you being in a certain frame of mind or certain state, and now that you've elevated yourself a little bit and you're feeling better emotionally, not attaching to certain things in your life, there's a mismatch there. So people, places, things around us, the energy around us is going to try and pull us back into this set point, because it's not like we can just boom, change. We have a lot of things ingrained in us. I've had a lot of people in my life, or whether they've said it or they've unconsciously said it without saying it in words, basically telling me that I'm failing at life. I'm not doing it the right way, of how I'm supposed to live life. And while I still get triggered, I get emotionally triggered by this kind of stuff. That's how I know that I haven't fully transformed yet. I still have a lot of stuff. I get angry still. But I also know that, when somebody is saying those words to me, or not saying those words to me, but they're kind of like, I can kind of read them, what they're trying to say, what they want to say, but not saying it. It affects me, but at the same time, I know myself and I don't agree with what they're saying. So while what they're telling me has an effect on me, triggers me, I also know that it's not true for myself. It's not what I believe. And I think that's the difference when we realize that we've transformed. It's like somebody telling you, you're failing at life, you're doing it all wrong. And, initially being like, ooh, you're right. And it really affecting our self-esteem and our perception of ourselves, versus it's still affecting you to the point where you still get angry, you still get resistant, so you know you still have work to do to get to this place of not being so affected. But you don't agree with it because you know yourself. And half the time we're getting angry at somebody else because what their perception of us is not our own perception of ourselves. See, when we know ourselves, we know what our strengths are, we know what we're good at, we know what makes us happy. So when other people disagree with that, or they find it silly, or they don't like, it doesn't make them happy, what makes you happy, there's this thing that happens, and it can lead to a lot of resistance. But, what I've found is that, it's like when we're fighting wars, we're just fighting and fighting and fighting, but we often don't get solutions. So we have to learn to react differently. So number one, instead of getting angry about it and really resistant and defiant and get in this very defensive mode, take that anger and frustration that you're feeling, take that emotion and allow it to propel you. Instead of just fighting the war, right? Fighting the war and nobody's winning. Allow it to create change and use that anger and turn it into something powerful for yourself. Don't sit in it where it's just going to be like heaviness on your body or very constricting for your body, but use it to drive change within you, outside of you. Turn it into something beautiful for yourself, okay? So don't always think of anger, frustration as we always want to fight it, right? We want to just release it half the time. We think it's a very bad emotion, but we all feel angry. We all feel frustrated at, somebody who cuts us in line or something, or doesn't hold the door for us. And it's normal to feel that way, okay? It's normal to feel, get offended by certain things. But we have to realize that we can transform this emotion. We can use it for our benefit. Number two, triggers, they're tough, okay? They're tough, but we have to also realize that our reactions to certain things that trigger us are just ingrained in us. They're patterns, right? That it's our way of coping. So like I said, if somebody puts us down or tries dampening the sparkle in our eyes, have we been feeling good and then somebody just kind of shuts us down, or we get a bad comment on a YouTube video or something, just realize that, like I said, some people shout back in anger, they get very defiant, they really, try to fist fight with the other person, and other people just shut down, right? They shut down. So these are just coping mechanisms. It's basically our body protecting ourselves, our brain trying to protect ourselves. Okay, so we have to be aware of it. Not only aware of the triggers, but aware of our impulse reactions. And the more we're aware of our reactions, the more we can shift them to a place of either neutrality or let them course through our body, but we have to recognize them first. And number three, when somebody's really trying to put you down in life, telling you you're failing at something, or telling you you're not good enough in a certain capacity, which you don't believe for yourself, you have to think of it like a chess match, okay? In chess, you're not just moving pieces, there's strategy behind it. So if you're always reacting in the same way, always doing the same behavior over and over again, and you notice like it doesn't help, it just kind of fuels the fire and makes things worse, or makes you feel worse about yourself, right? And you're getting triggered more often. You have to think, strategize, and think inside the head of the opposing chess player, okay? So it's not just about the pieces, it's about getting inside the head of the other person. Putting yourself, almost like you're putting, glasses on and seeing their tint on the world, their filter on the world. And what this is going to do, it's going to release us from this place of judgment and just anger, and release some of that anger into a place of understanding and compassion. Okay, and I know that might sound hard because when you're in it with somebody, when somebody's putting you down, and some people do it just for fun, you have to recognize that too. But if it's somebody usually close to you, okay, like friends, family, somebody who doesn't like what you're doing or how you're behaving these days, or that you shave the side of your head or something, you have to look at it through the other person's eyes and not just your own eyes. Because what happens when you look just from your own eyes you're going to always react the same way. You know what I mean? You have to have this understanding. You have to read the energy of the other person, see where they are from a vibrational standpoint, not only, but also what colored glasses they're wearing. And then it's a strategy. So if you've always been reacting and doing things the same way and just getting annoyed at people and letting them, walk all over you and letting them really affect your emotion and your mood, try doing it differently is all I'm saying, because that way is not working, right? It's still affecting you, but doing it differently. And sometimes that's hard because we get attached to our coping mechanisms. We get attached, well, I should be angry. I should be sad about this. I want to be sad about this. How can I feel forgiving or compassionate or understanding of somebody who's putting me down? But it's in that place where true inner transformation happens, because we're not doing things how we've always done things. We're mixing it up. We're changing the script. And by changing the script, it's often going to diffuse the bomb, okay? It's going to lessen the load, I guess you could say, the emotional load, the vibrational load, and it's going to neutralize some of this back and forth with somebody else, or all this intense anger and rage. So a lot of it is releasing anger and frustration from your body, and transforming that into a place of more compassion and understanding for other people. And this is what the world needs. We all know, right? We're not getting each other. We're not understanding each other. We're not talking to each other. We're just fighting each other. We're just shouting in each other's faces, spitting on each other, and making everything more angry, essentially. So I just want to say, and I wanted to do this video because I'm sure you can relate, where you feel like you're in a good place and then a gatekeeper comes in or something pops up in your world that brings you back down a level. Okay. And that can linger with you, right? It can linger with you. It can make you feel like you're not worthy. And sometimes you feel like you're the only advocate for yourself, because nobody's acknowledging you, nobody's giving you recognition for all those things that you're proud of about yourself. So you have to give yourself the recognition and not always rely on it from other people, because everybody's in their own space and time, their own vibration. They have their own filter on the world, right? So they may not see things through your eyes, just as you don't see things through another person's eyes necessarily, but you can try to understand them from that place, okay? We can try as much as we don't want to. So anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. Keep shining that light on the world. You know what makes you happy. If somebody doesn't agree with that, don't let it affect you so much to that. Please be aware of your reactions to another person, okay? Because at the end of the day, you are all that matters, right? This is your life. If you know where your strengths are, and you know what expands you and makes you smile and makes you feel lighter and makes life more peaceful and simplified for you, then please go in that direction, and don't listen to everybody else around you telling you you're doing it wrong, okay? Because your own intuition, your own inner GPS is going to guide you throughout life with things that are in and out of alignment for you and for your spirit, okay? So you have to really pay attention to that. So it's this battle sometimes between our internal world in the external environment that we're in. Okay, and we're going to have things pop up. We're going to have gatekeepers. We're going to have tests in life. The universe tests us plenty, just to make sure that we're really growing, we're really evolving, we're really changing in our lives, and really becoming as authentic as we can be to our true selves. So anyway, hit that like button, subscribe. I put out new videos every single week for you on all kinds of cool topics. Share it with your friends. Really, appreciate you supporting this channel, watching. I really do. And until next time, I see you on the next video. Bye.